Let's talk about Harvey Weinstein. You've represented a lot of interesting characters. Ben, what is your process when you get a call? I remember talking to Robert Shapiro and, or F. Lee Bailey or Allen or some of these guys. They just like these complicated cases. What is it about these cases that ends up coming to guys like you?
Well, I think when people in that league are in, criminal trouble, I think they want to go to someone who has experience. I don't think they want a novice. I think they want people with a proven track record. I didn't represent Harvey Weinstein at his trial. We parted company after a couple of months because he insisted on having a skirt, as he called it, to represent him. And I said, Harvey, I can do a lot of things for you, but I just don't really want to become a woman. But when a powerful person is in trouble, I think they look for someone who's been around that block before, has a proven track record. And I think the most high-profile person I've ever represented was Dominic Strauss-Kahn, who had been indicted, and the case was ultimately dismissed. I mean, that's probably more an interesting result than an acquittal, getting an indictment dismissed by the district attorney's office where a person had already been indicted.
And Ben, when you first started working with Harvey, did Harvey reach out to you? Did you guys reach out to him? Had you worked together with him in the past before or no?
No, I never worked with him before. He was referred to me by someone else. I quite frankly don't remember who. And I met with Harvey and we sat down, had a meal. And then Harvey continued to call me. And I said, Harvey, you're an interesting guy, and I'm learning a lot from talking to you about movies and production. But I think you need to come to grips with the fact that you're going to be indicted. And if you want me to represent you, we need to formalize our representation by a signed retainer agreement, which he did. It's rare, if ever, that I reach out to the person who's in the scope. It's technically not appropriate. I think I'm beyond that in my career, thankfully, and people generally reach out to me.
Makes sense. What wasn't there a story that came out with the Harvey Weinstein? And help me, correct me at any time. I think I read a few different articles about this, even when it was going on, and even recently. That he, was it him that asked you guys to have lawyers from your firm, associates, to go represent the accusers so you can get intel to come back and help you against the case with them so you can have information? And then that was one of the reasons why the case had to be dropped. That story's well written and documented other places. Was it him asking of you, or was it something where some of the associates were taking initiative to get more intel?
I think that story stems from what I consider to be unethical behavior of a former associate who was not with the firm at the time. And it was a story where he ultimately conceded that I had zero involvement. And to be honest with you, it was long after my representation of Harvey had ended. But, that associate, who is long since gone, shows up like a bad penny several times a year. Got it.
Yeah, it's all because strategically, obviously, from legally, I can't see that being legal, right? But strategically, I can see that being very helpful if that intel can come back in to give your client the leverage when you're negotiating. But obviously, the associate, this came afterwards as well. When I've sat with a lot of different people, Ben, and you've sat with a lot of interesting guys, but you've sat one-on-one, like relationship, day-to-day, trying to work with representing these guys. Did anybody you ever represent, did you ever sit with someone and you said, this guy here is cold, this guy's dark, I feel weird being around him and representing a guy like this. I'm not sure I'm comfortable representing somebody like this. Or has it always been, no, it's my job. They're here for me to fight for them. No one really, shakes me or makes me feel uncomfortable or even how dark they are. I just have a job to do and I do it very well.
Well, I'm not the morality police, and I don't pass judgment on what someone may or may not have done. Sam Gravano, who you mentioned, I only represented him for a couple of days, and and then it ended. And to be honest with you, I keep being mentioned as his lawyer, and at the end of the day, I met him once. It didn't go well. Let me leave it at that, and we parted company. But, at the end of the day, when you read a piece about me, his name shows up. So it's unfortunate in some respects because I wasn't his lawyer in any substantive time. I interviewed him. He interviewed me. He liked me. I didn't pass judgment on what he was accused of doing. But shortly thereafter, we parted company for reasons I don't think I can go into. But, if you asked him and he told the truth, I think he would say that he liked me, but it didn't end well between us.
Got it. And even what year was this, by the way, with you and Sammy?
It was right before the Gotti trial.
Oh,
I don't remember.
Oh, you're talking.
It had to be at least 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, that could be longer than that, Ben. If it's the Gotti trial, that could have been. Yeah, that could have been a while back, if it was a Gotti case. So you guys, technically, there was never an engagement and exchange of money in place with you and Sammy, where it doesn't qualify as you being his lawyer.
I didn't consider him a client, and if he considered me a lawyer on his behalf, I can't answer for him. But I was retained briefly, and I worked for him for just a couple of days.
Got it. Okay, so it was a couple of days that you worked for him. Makes sense. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time with Sammy. Probably one of the best storytellers out there. He can be very charming, charismatic, and he's been around the block and knows the mafia world like a historian. Like he could be a professor teaching the history of mafia. But it's another one of those interesting characters you represented.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.